Hey guys, and welcome back to Let's Play Tales of Arise with Elixir Video Games. On the last episode, after finding ourselves on some unknown space station, we decided to take a look around, try and find our bearings, maybe think of a way to get off of this place so that we could go to Rena, which was our original destination before we got pulled off course. However, we then found one of the red women disguised creatures, which is apparently a Helganquil called Heverect35, who basically explained a lot of stuff to us about how the world works and about how the red women work, because the red women are actually the Helganquil. So we learned a lot about how the world works. We talked with a bunch of people. We found out that Renans are actually just Danans who were kidnapped and given astral powers, or like enhanced astral powers. We found out that this whole thing is all of the Renans being enslaved to do what the Helganquil want them to do, which is also what the Great Spirit of Rena wants them to do. The Great Spirit of Rena being the coalition of all of the astral energy on Rena. Is that a real word, coalition? I think I maybe just made that up. Anyway, so we talked with a lot of people, tried to figure out what we wanted to do, and now we have an answer that we want to take down this Great Spirit, which is what Heverect35 asked us to do. But in order to figure out how to do that, we need to go and ask Heverect35 what his plan was, or their plan was, because they might have had a plan. So we're going to go and ask Heverect35, they might know. So we actually have nothing else to do as far as I can tell. I can't fast travel up there, so I'm guessing something important must happen. So I guess we'll just head on up to the central level, which is where we should find Heverect35. We're learning a bunch of stuff. It's fantastic. Right. Hello. We talked to people. We need a plan. Help us? Please?
Do you have your answer for me?
We want to ask something first. You're asking us to fight an entire planet. How exactly do you expect us to do that? You must have something up your sleeve, or else you wouldn't put us up to it.
The great astral spirit is an immense being, but its actual will does not run throughout its entire body. Rather, its will is derived from the core, which supports the rest of the body, and is where its strength is most densely concentrated. Therefore, if you destroy the core, the Great Spirit shall become unable to maintain sentience and return to being ordinary astral energy.
And how are we supposed to destroy that core?
By using the Renus Alma. You will also need the assistance of both the Sovereign and the Maiden. They are our best tools for suppressing and controlling astral energy. Using their powers, the Maiden shall seal the great astral spirit within her body, and the Sovereign shall wield the power of the Renus Alma to destroy it.
Hold on. That sounds a lot like what Shion described before.
Yeah, killing herself to take out the thorns with her.
She was actually right all along.
By my calculations, your powers combined should be sufficient to destroy the great astral spirit and disperse its energy widely enough to make it difficult to reform.
What will happen to the Maiden once we manage to beat the great astral spirit?
Any matter contained within the field of destruction shall be erased.
So it really will kill me.
This method is the most simple one available to destroy the great spirit, and is therefore our most reliable option.
What are our other options?
There is little reason to consider alternative courses of action when the most optimal among them is so clear.
You don't get it. I promised Shion that she wouldn't die, that we'd save the world without needing to sacrifice her. We didn't fight this whole time just to give up on her at the very end. If there's any other way to take out the Great Spirit, I want to hear it.
This plan shall lead to the fewest losses in preserving your world. Abandoning it is irrational. It is vital that you proceed with this plan. A part of Rena's great astral spirit already resides within her. 300 years ago, The Great Spirit descended upon Lenegis in an attempt to assume direct control of the spirit channeling ceremony. We have reason to believe the Great Spirit left part of itself behind, and that it now resides in the Maiden.
Which would make Alphen's earlier hypothesis correct.
That part inside the Maiden belongs to the core, and can be used by the Great Astral Spirit to revive itself. So long as it remains, it will be all but impossible to fully eradicate the Great Spirit. That is why it is necessary for it to be vanquished only once it is whole. Without the Maiden's direct control over the Great Spirit, attacking it is futile, and will only serve to strengthen it.
No.
Wait. Naori said that the Renis Alma can suppress the self-realization of astral energy, and that the thorns can be neutralized by placing them in it. If so, can't the same also be done to the Great Spirit, seeing as the thorns are simply part of it?
Well, can it?
It is true that the Renis Alma is capable of what you suggest, and could contain the Great Astral Spirit.
Yes!
However, doing so requires fine control on the level of the spirit channeling ceremony, considering that the Renis Alma was previously lost when that ceremony failed. I cannot allow it. Its uncertainty is simply too great.
What does that mean for us if you won't allow it?
Your starship will not be restored, and you will all be unable to leave here.
Why you?
Fine then. I'd rather stay here and rot than do it your way.
Alphen?
Whatever we do, if we mess up, Dana's screwed. The Great Spirit will destroy it. If you're fine letting that happen, and we have nothing to gain either way, then I'd rather do nothing. We want to stop Dana from getting destroyed. We want to save it. But not if it means having to sacrifice one of us in the process. If all you're gonna do is sit back and watch us where it's safe, then quit ordering us around and shut up!
Alphen.
What you say is irrational. Be that as it may, I shall accede to your demand.
You'll agree?
I am an observer. The Sovereign, Maiden, and Renis Alma are my species' greatest achievement. I wish to see how well they work against the Great Spirit in light of our demise by its hands.
But what are we supposed to do about the Renis Alma? One of your buddies ran off with it back on Lenegis.
It is likely that the Renis Alma is with the Great Spirit, functioning as a catalyst for it to receive Dana's astral energy.
So our only option to retrieve it is to head straight for the Great Spirit and take it back?
According to my observations, the astral energy is most densely concentrated in the center of Rena, where the Great Spirit's core is located.
So right in the middle of that giant flower, then.
I have one more question. You've said that Rena's great astral spirit is already integrated with the planet. What will happen to Rena once it vanishes?
Without the will of the Great Spirit, Rena is predicted to collapse. Even in such a scenario, the energy will disperse, and the Great Spirit will likely not reform.
So you're saying that even if we manage to beat the Great Spirit without destroying it, we'll still be in danger?
Likely, the collapse will occur in stages. It is recommended that you all escape before the final stage.
Man, I wish that thing would tell it to us straight for once.
Havrek 35 and the others have gotten used to hypothesizing from afar is all. Fix our starship. We're going to Rena.
Excellent.
But I want to make one thing clear. We're doing this for ourselves, to protect what matters to us. We're not doing it for your sake, or because you told us to. Remember that.
It matters little to me. The end result shall be the same. Repair work on your starship has commenced. You'll have to wait until it's finished.
Man, is it too much to ask for Hevrick 35 to talk like a normal person? I swear I can feel my brain starting to fry after listening to all that complicated stuff.
Don't worry. I think we're mostly done with him. Now all we have to do is rest up and wait. Once the Fall Knights is good to go again, we'll be taking off for Renna right away.
I mean, to be fair, Hevrick 35 is not a normal person, so they're not going to talk to us like a normal person. Anyway, that was interesting. Yeah, we're not going to, like, as Hevrick 35 was saying, like, oh yes, you'll need to sacrifice the maiden. I'm like, we're not doing that. No. There's no way. And I'm so glad that Alpha was like, no, if the only option is to sacrifice Shion, then I'd rather do nothing. Like, because that just makes it meaningless. It's just, I love the conviction in this party. They're so very good. Oh my gosh, I love this game a lot. Okay, we have a skit here, an alternate plan.
Is the Renis Alma really our only hope against the Great Spirit? There has to be another way, right?
Shion's Fire Master Core was able to suppress astral energy to prevent it from gaining sentience, right? Couldn't we make use of that somehow?
I'm not sure. In small doses, maybe. And with the amount of energy we're talking about here.
Back in Calaglia, the Blazing Sword was able to take in a whole spirit vessel's worth of energy. If it has the capacity to manage that, it can do this, right?
Except after it absorbed the energy, it ended up releasing it all moments later, remember? Let's not forget, it nearly killed you. Besides, this is the Great Spirit we're talking about, not a paltry vessel. Even if I could use the Master Core, your body wouldn't be able to take the strain of channeling that much energy.
Hevrick 35 didn't mention it, and it did not seem the type to skimp on details, so assuming it's even possible, the chances are slim to none.
You're probably right.
Well, yeah. I guess the Dana Salma is probably the best way of doing it then, because that's like the power of 5 Master Cores rather than just 1. Is this just the same thing as it was before? Yes, it is. Okay. Well, bye Hevrick 35. Have a nice sleep. Where are we going anyway? Wait for the Starship Repairs. Wait, where? Oh, hello. You're a plot person. It'll take some time to completely repair your starship. I suggest that you all get some rest in the interim. Sure, I guess we'll rest.
You still thinking about what the scientists told us? About where Renans really come from?
I am, but not for myself.
You're worried about the future of the Renan people.
The fact that our people have been the same this whole time will only give the Danans further reason to resent us.
But you still intend to confront this truth head-on, don't you?
Well, I did declare that I would live my life for the living, and not the dead. Even as I dream of retirement, I shall remain dedicated to the cause.
I'm sure you'll do great.
Now that I think about it, I don't believe I've ever heard you criticize or reproach us Renans even once.
I'm no saint. I have skeletons in my closet too. There was definitely a time when I hated Renans for who they were. I hated them just for being Renan. But you changed that, Dohalim. You gave me an opportunity to see them in a different light. Thanks to your reforms, we were able to stand next to Renans not as slaves, but as equals for the first time in our lives. Of course, I'm sure there were some Renans who still hated us on the inside. But we knew that not all of you were like that. There were those of you who were good, and that was a start. When it comes down to it, Renans are just people. They can be good or bad, just like Danans.
That is, in essence, the heart of your approach, isn't it? That we're all people.
Yeah, it is. When you can pull someone aside and talk to them one-on-one, then you have the chance to come to an understanding. But as soon as you stereotype, that chance goes away, and you stop thinking of them as people that you can relate to.
I understand what you're saying, but we're talking about massive numbers of Renans and Danans alike. Realistically speaking, surely they won't all be able to get along.
Even if we end up butting heads with one person, maybe we'll find better luck among their friends. If we can build a society that works like that, that'll be something worth nurturing and protecting.
So you wish for people to form real bonds and do away with the hierarchy outright? To deal with one another as humans, and nothing more? That's the ideal future you hope to see when this is all over?
Yes, I do. I think it would make for a fine tribute to my brother's legacy. Though, that said, I would be doing it for the people of the future first and foremost. Do you still plan to return to Lenegis when this is over?
Indeed I do. I don't know whether I'll be able to reside in Lenegis proper, however. My first order of business may be to find somewhere to live.
You'll always have a home in Menancia, you know.
As I shall ever keep in mind.
Well, if you ever need a helping hand, don't hesitate to come get me. I'll always be there for you, Doe.
Did you just... Never mind. Thank you, Kisara. I appreciate your patience as I work all this out.
Don't even mention it. And really, when you think about it, now that we know the two of us aren't so different after all, don't you think that brings down a barrier that used to be between us?
You know, I hadn't actually thought of it that way before. But I do like the sound of it.
Yeah, I think I do too.
Hey, why'd you call me here? Was there something you wanted to talk about?
Well, if everything we've heard about the Great Spirit is true, then we're getting close to our final battle. So I wanted to apologize while I can.
Apologize? For what?
I was being real stupid before, about whether Dana's will had been controlling us and all that. I get why you're angry now. Anybody would be if something they trusted was being questioned. So, I'm sorry, Rinwell. Really. I should have kept my mouth shut.
No, Law. Honestly, I think you might have been onto something. Of course you were worried. Who wouldn't be if they found out there might be some invisible force pulling our strings this whole time?
But you really trust Dana's will, don't you? Is it because you can sense it a lot more than the rest of us? Because you can understand it?
Yeah, I think that might be part of it. But I also want to believe it's good.
Believe?
Remember how I used to really resent coming from a family of mages?
Yeah, of course. Because you were always on the run and had to live in hiding.
When we rescued Zephyr and I finally decided to come along with you all, something changed inside me. It was the first time I felt like my powers had any meaning, even if that meaning was only helping you guys fight. Then, when I felt Dana's will, I was overwhelmed by how vast and warm it was. It made me want to believe my powers were made to connect with it. It made me believe I had a bigger purpose.
So that's why you hope it doesn't turn out to be bad. You almost need it to be kind.
Yeah.
Well, alright. Then I promise I'll lay off bad-mouthing it.
You will?
There's no way for me to know for sure one way or the other, right? But you trust it, Rinwell, and that's enough for me. so I'll trust it because you do.
Remember what I said about neither planet's great spirit reaching us here?
Yeah?
That's not quite true. I can feel just a little bit of Rena's inside you and everyone else.
You... what?
I sensed it when we first got here. It's a really small amount, so it doesn't feel like it has a will of its own. But I think that's how Dana's energy probably is too.
So you're saying there's a little bit of Dana's will inside each of us? In a way, doesn't that mean we're all Dana's will?
What?
Well, like you said, unless Dana's energy comes together, it has no will. So if we all have a little bit of Dana's astral energy inside us...
Yeah, maybe...
Hevrick 35 might know the answer. But, you know what? I don't need to ask it. My will is my own. I fight for who I want to fight for. That's who I am now. Who I've become. So thanks, Rinwell, for sharing that with me.
Ah.
To be honest, the only reason I was suspicious of Dana's will, well, I mean, it mostly was... I feel like you and I had grown apart lately, and I was worried it was because...
Huh?
Never mind. Nothing. Just forget about it.
Huh? No, what were you saying?
Saying? I don't remember
Come
saying
on.
anything.
Now you won't tell me what you were
No,
thinking?
that's not what I'm saying.
Then spit it out already.
You sure you don't want to get some rest?
I can't. I've got too much on my mind. Especially knowing how close our last battle is. How are you doing, Shion?
Same as you, still trying to absorb everything.
Remember when it was so simple? We were only fighting all the lords on Dana? Although that feels like a lifetime ago, doesn't it?
Ages and ages ago. Everything that's happened since we first met. So many fights, so much chaos, so many wonderful people.
If I hadn't run into you that day, well, I wouldn't have met all of you. I never would have held the blazing sword or looked for something more. I wouldn't have my memories back. I'd still be a faceless slave, like as not long dead.
Hey, Alphen. I want you to promise me something.
Yeah?
If we can't find the Rena's Alma, there's something I want you to do. Like Hevrick 35 said, the only way we can end the Great Spirit for good is to go after both the main body in Rena and the thorns in me. I need you to promise me, Alphen, that if for some reason we can't get the Rena's Alma back, you'll use the blazing sword to destroy the Great Spirit, and me along with it.
Huh?
It's true the blazing sword may not have the strength of the Rena's Alma, but it's taken us this far. It's slain lords and beasts. At the very least, it has to be worth a try.
You can't be serious. Have you forgotten everything
Listen,
that we...
the Great Spirit isn't just our problem. It's a threat to our entire world. Renans and Danans alike. We don't know what's going to happen when we face it, but we need to be prepared for anything. We can't second-guess ourselves when the time comes. I promise you, I'm not planning on going anywhere. I'm prepared to fight with absolutely everything I've got. But if it comes down to it, I need you to be prepared too.
Okay. But you should know that I'm not going to give up on you, Shion. I'm going to fight this until the very end. I hope you can forgive me for that.
Alphen. Okay, I understand. And I'll forgive you.
Thank you, Shion.
So it's a promise then?
Yeah, it's a promise.
I remember how I felt the first time you touched me. My thorns made any contact a mistake no one would ever make twice. After they'd seen what could happen, fear would always linger behind their eyes. In my entire life, I never had someone willingly reach out to me. But when you reached out to me and gently took my hand, you didn't react at all. It was so easy for you. I don't have words for the shock I felt in that moment.
That's because I couldn't feel pain back then.
Even once you could, though, you still chose to keep reaching out to me. And when you did, I felt this warmth that I had never known before. But still, I hate having to see you suffer through it every time you do.
You won't have to worry about that for much longer.
You think so?
I do, because Shion,
No. You can tell me once my thorns are gone. Okay?
Yeah. Okay. Everybody get enough rest? We ready for this?
Yeah, we should probably get moving.
Agreed. Can't stand around waiting all day.
Our task is relatively straightforward. We need only descend down to Rena, defeat the Great Spirit, and restore stability to both worlds.
We're fighting for a new future for both Dana and Rena.
Right. We've come this far. We will save our worlds. That's a promise.
Then let's go, everybody. We've got one last wall to tear down.
Repairs on your starship are complete. Everything is in working order.
Is that you, Hevrek 35? You can see us from where you are?
I can. I can see anywhere within the bounds of Dake Phasal.
Sounds like someone's a peeping Tom.
Maybe we should give Hevrek 35 a break. It has been stuck in this tiny facility for a very, very long time.
I have unlocked all functions on your starship. You can now make use of its warp drive.
Warp drive? Wait, you mean like what the Red Women used on us? What brought us here?
It's possible that the Red Women may have found a way to activate it on the starship. They are Helganquil, after all.
Using the warp drive, you should be able to breach Rena's atmosphere without being detected.
Wait, should?
You'll need to be careful. Due to the force field surrounding Rena, the ship will be unable to go any further than the surface of the planet.
So, once we reach the shell, it appears we'll have to infiltrate the core by foot. Understood.
We gotta go all the way down just walking?
Will all the Helganquil go back to normal once we defeat the Great Spirit? I have a strange feeling we're going to have to fight them before this is all over.
The extinction of my people is inevitable at this stage. As such, it would be illogical to risk the success of the mission in a vain attempt to save my kind.
We understand.
Can't that thing lighten up a bit? Everything it says seems to be about what's illogical.
Well, come on, Doe.
Hold up, did you just...
You heard the lady. Get going.
I have one last question.
What?
As Sovereign, your identification number indicates that you are well past your predicted life expectancy. Similarly, the Maiden lacks any identification number, as her function should have been rendered unnecessary. Despite this, the two of you continue to exist. Why?
We exist because others have entrusted this to us. Over the years, many people have come together and sworn to see this through to the end.
You mean it is because of multiple chance interactions? The likelihood of such events is statistically improbable. Why have you two continued to persist under these conditions?
It's hard to explain. To be honest, I don't think it's something an observer could understand. All right, time to get back on the Fall Knights.
Hello, I've been emotionally compromised. Oh, those scenes were just so good. The one with Kisara and Dohalim. Oh, that's really cute. It was really sweet because it was like... I mean, obviously Kisara had gotten past most of her things towards random people a while ago. Like, I think even before we met her, because she had met Dohalim and he had been a good person. So it's interesting to see things from her perspective as someone who didn't have to deal with that the way that the other Danans in our group have had to deal with it. And we really have seen the barrier between Kisara and Dohalim come down throughout the game. And seeing that scene there was just such an encapsulation of it, and I love that they managed to come to an understanding and, like, finally find a way for the two of them to, like, have a bond that's not with that sort of hierarchical distance between them. It was a very good scene. And, like, I know that a lot of people would consider Kisara's way of thinking quite naive, like, in that she wants to be hopeful for people to be able to get along with each other, and even if one person can't understand Renans, then maybe their friends will, or it's the same for Renans towards Danans, you know? And eventually it will become a widespread thing. And that hope and optimism is just so good. And it's fun to see that balanced out with Dohalim being quite a realist, and being like, well, you know, it's not going to be quite as easy as that, but we will keep fighting and trying. Oh, I love that. The Ridwell and Law scene. The Ridwell and Law scene was so cute. I love them both so much. Oh my god. It was really sweet to see Law kind of open up to her about, you know, why he's been a bit worried, you know, apologizing about, you know, saying, not trusting in this thing that Ridwell trusts so much because it does mean a lot to her, but her also understanding where he's coming from and, like, seeing them talk to each other about that as well. And then the bit at the end was just very cute as well. Oh man, I'm so curious what he would have said if he hadn't backed down like a coward. That's a joke. I do love him. I love them both. They're great. The Alpha and Shion scene might have destroyed me the most, simply because I just get the feeling he's not gonna get to say what he was gonna tell Shion now, and that hurts my soul to the core. Like, is he not gonna be able to tell her at all now? Because she was like, you can tell me after we've done it. Are you sure, Shion? Are you sure? And the fact that she made him promise to take her out if he has to. I'm so worried for the end of the game. I think it's gonna be great, but, like, I'm worried. And her, like, almost reaching out for him only for her thorns to get in the way. I'm just emotionally compromised. It's fine. Anyway, I guess we'll take a look around, see if any of these conversations are... No, they're old. They're old. They're old and we don't care. Alright, well, in which case... There's nothing else that we need to do in here, is there? Nah. I take it... Yeah, the fast travel's locked. There's a new side quest in Ulzebek, though. So clearly we must be able to go back at some point. But we have to do plot first. Okay, okay. Well, let's go and do this plot so that we can then go on to do the other stuff. I'm excited. I really want to know what's gonna happen. Ah! Okay, okay. We're definitely getting to the end of the game now. This time it's actually the end of the game. I'm sure it is. Okay. Alright, let's take off Arena. God, this game is so good. I love it a lot. Holy frick.
It would appear that our Helganquil host really has fulfilled its end of the bargain.
You know what that means. Time to go to Rena.
I guess this means we should give that warp drive a spin.
There's nothing here. This weird ocean we're surrounded by just stretches out everywhere. Is this really where the Helganquil come from?
I don't sense even a trace of astral energy. This world is dead.
Then this must be the hollowing.
You mean to tell me this whole world, the entire ocean is that stuff?
And it's covering everything. The entire planet.
This is what the Great Spirit does. After it depleted this planet of every last speck of astral energy, it went after Dana.
So arresting. This world of doom.
Back in its day, Rena was probably just as vibrant as Dana is. But after being robbed of its astral energy for so long, those days are gone and past. This is all that will remain.
So the Great Spirit took everything. It stole energy not just from living beings, but the land, the sea, everything.
And it bound the Helganquil in servitude, until their whole world was nothing but this. And by the looks of it, that's how it remains to this day. A world of death and emptiness.
With nothing left here to consume, the Great Spirit turned its sights on Dana, looking for another host.
You're saying if we don't stop it, this is what Dana's going to look like?
We can be sure that even these few remaining remnants of Renan life will not be spared in the end.
If the oblivion and darkness both Shion and Naori saw comes to pass, nothing will survive. It looks like we can climb down from there. Let's take a look.
Destroyed remnants, Ren. Holy hell.
So this is Rena. This is where everything began. Yet it's a dead world?
I won't let Dana suffer the same fate. Ever.
First of all... Okay. That scene, very poignant. You know, the moment that Dohling was like, "Is this the hallway?" and I'm like, "Oh, frig, this could be Dana." Like, not right now, obviously, but if things turn out the way that they're supposed to, oh god. And I was like really enwrapped in the moment, and then just suddenly special owls. Special owls seem to have appeared throughout Dana. Discover all of the owls! As though we're not literally in the final dungeon. Oh god. We have a skit here. Rena, a world of death.
A hollowed ocean as far as the eye can see. What do you think would happen if we fell in?
What do you mean, what would happen? You'd drown, wouldn't you?
Come to think of it, I don't believe I've heard of someone ever trying. Perhaps you'd like the glory of being the first?
Nah, I'll pass.
This is essentially a world-sized Renin graveyard. Are you proposing to disturb the dead slumber just to satisfy your curiosity, Law?
No, because I said I passed.
Taking an interest is understandable, but let's not forget where we are. This place deserves our respect.
Looks like we're not going to be hearing the end of this one for a while.
You'd think I was already snorkeling in it or something.
They really do know how to lay in the mood, huh? I like this game a lot. We have another skit here, the challenge of a lifetime.
So the idea is to seal the Great Spirit inside the Renis Alma using the Sovereign and Maiden's power. But just how do we do that exactly?
I'm guessing it won't be as easy as holding a spirit channeling ceremony at our leisure.
I already had wielded astral energy once 3 centuries ago. As for suppressing her thorns, Shion's had a lifetime's experience. The problem isn't just our enemy's strength, it's that it's sentient too. And you can bet anything you like it's not going to just sit back and let us destroy it.
In other words, we need to find some way to weaken it in advance. The Great Spirit, that is.
Back when Shion's thorns flew out of control, we were able to deal with them directly. If this is their host, they should be even more corporeal here.
If that's the case, it should make them easier to attack at least. And if we can manage to divert enough energy away from the spirit's core, even temporarily,
We might just be able to weaken it enough to steal the Renis Alma, which we can then use to seal it away forever. It won't be easy, but it's our only shot. Time to buckle up.
Nice, we've got a plan. I don't know if it's going to go quite as well as we would like it to go, but we've got a plan. We have another skit here, bridging the divides.
Question for you. Let's say, knock on wood, everything turns out for the best.
What'll the world be like? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of this, do you really think everything will be that different?
A lot will have to change, that's for sure. The world will have to adjust to so much. My only worry is if those changes turn out to be merely skin deep.
what do you mean?
It's well and good putting an end to Renin rule. But if it just turns the tables, it's all for naught.
That's true. Just as bad if the Danans started pressing their own.
Renins, Danans, Astral art users, mages. The world is full of labels used to divide and separate people.
If only we could see differences like that for what they are. No different to someone having a musical talent or being good with their hands. Not differences so much as characteristics.
It will take someone in power to set an example. But with time, people will follow. And then, perhaps one day,
There will no longer be any need for the example. It will have become second nature.
That's where we come in. We can set the example. Imagine it. A world where magic and astral arts are used to help people. Where that's the norm rather than the exception.
Yeah, you're right, Rinwell. Why wait for somebody else? We can show them ourselves.
That's really sweet. Yeah, we can be the example. We can show people how it's done. Oh man. This game is just... it touches on so many poignant themes and in such an interesting and intelligent way. I do love it. So, I take it... we can go... There are side quests everywhere. I hate to break it to you guys, but I don't think we're going to be exploring Gegham Helgarahi anytime soon. Gegham Helgarahi. I might be pronouncing that entirely wrong. Oh well. So I take it that's just to get back to the ship? What happens if I go over to the ship? What will it say? Yoink. Ah, cool. So I can go back to Berg Volcano, Dake Basil, Lenegus, or just cancel. Cool, okay. Well, we'll come back to this later. For now, let's go ahead and take a look in the real world. If I go to the Owl Forest, will they say anything about the special owls? Probably not. I'm expecting not. Actually, I should have put that as my quest. I'm surprised that...
I think Hoodle senses something.
Oh. I don't think this skit has anything to do with owls. I should have put my my quest as the special owls. Discover all of the owls. That's why the quest was still open then. Okay. And we have another skit here. Keeping up with the Helganquil.
Hey! Hey, I just realized something!
Is this about dinner last night? I didn't realize those ingredients were off.
What? No! I mean, wait, you fed us rotten food?
Rinwell, the point.
Oh, yeah, right. So I was thinking about those armored soldiers we've seen. There are regular Renans inside them, right?
Yeah, they're designed to make whoever's wearing them stronger. At least, I think that's the idea.
Right. So it kind of begs the question then, why are they made so huge?
I don't know, makes them more intimidating, I guess? Or maybe all that tech wizardry inside takes up a lot of space.
You don't think it's weird how the armored soldiers are the exact same height as the Helganquil?
Can't say I'd ever noticed it till now. And?
Connect the dots, Law!
Okay, let me get this straight. You think the armored suits might have originally been designed to allow Renans to work alongside the Helganquil?
Huh. But if that's true, what would that mean?
It would mean... just that, I guess. But still, don't you think it's kind of interesting?
Not hugely. Hey, Kisara, well, I've got you. What's on tonight's menu? Because I was thinking maybe meat.
Get him, Hoodle.
What did I do?
Oh, now you want to listen. Keep pecking, Hoodle!
Ow! Seriously, what the hell?
God, I love this game. Oh my god. I mean, that was a really interesting point that Rinwell was making. Just her dynamic with Law is fantastic. And then Kisara being there like, okay, kids, settle down. I love this game. I love it. Okay, we have yet another skit here. Thinning the herd.
You know, guys, when you think about it, we've taken out a lot of Zoogles. Like, a whole lot.
You can say that again. If one thing's for certain in this world, it's that wherever we go, we'll always end up bumping into them.
Isn't it weird that they're still so plentiful? You don't think the Renans have, like, a ranch where they breed them, do you?
Certainly in all of my years, I've never heard of them constructing such a massive facility on Dana, let alone up in Lenegus.
The only thing I can think of, then, is that the feral ones must be reproducing on their own.
There's also no organized effort on our part to hunt them down, so it's difficult to fully exterminate them.
Exterminate them? Whoa, don't you think that's maybe a little harsh?
What do you mean?
Zoogles originally used to be living creatures native to Dana and Rena, right? Being genetically modified isn't their fault.
You're right. Zoogles were only created because of us Renans. We altered the original creatures to suit our own ends.
First, people made Zoogles, and then we let them go. And now we're trying to kill them because they're a threat. They really have only seen the very worst, huh?
I hope we find a way to be able to live side by side with them one day.
It's a nice thought, but they attack towns and cities. What else are we supposed to do?
Aside from the strays that have gone wild, It's worth remembering that Renins are able to keep them somewhat under control.
If we had distinct territories that didn't overlap, that might reduce the danger they pose.
Well, I guess when you look at it that way, maybe people and Zeugles aren't so different after all.
Maybe? Yeah, I guess we could maybe try and find a way to tame them? I don't know how well it would work, but better not get rid of all of the wildlife. There's a side quest on Dake Faisal? Okay, hold on. I'm gonna start from Calaglia and we'll go along and look at all the side quests that we can find. We're not gonna get every single one today, but we might as well get a few. It looks like, this is probably Doc. Oh, cool. I like that art. That picture. It's pretty.
You finally made it.
Well, I can't take 2 steps without a skip. Memories of Calaglia.
I never realized before just how hot this place is. It's like being inside a fire.
You're only just noticing? Ah, yes, forgive me. The whole lack of sensory feedback situation.
That's the one. It's hard to believe I once worked in this soup, let alone helped spearhead a revolution.
And all with the mask concealing your face. It must have been very grimy beneath that.
Back then, we had our plates full enough dealing with constant abuse from our Renin overlords. It never occurred to me the air itself was oppressive in its own way. My head's spinning just with the effort it takes to walk.
I think that's called heat stroke. You might want to take a sip of water.
You mean that water that's been festering under the sun for days? I wouldn't chance it without boiling it first.
Oh, I know! I'll go to the dock and fetch us some clean water.
Water alone won't suffice. He'll need to ensure his sodium levels are replenished as well.
In that case, let's see if we can rustle up some rock salt. Alphen, you go cool off in the shade for a while. Xion, stay and keep an eye on him.
And then there were 2.
Bit of an overreaction, but it's still kind of them.
Maybe it's not the time, but this place brings back memories.
I know what you mean. We're back where it all started.
You don't ever regret meeting me sometimes, do you?
Are you kidding? You started all of this. Bringing down the wall, retrieving my sense of self. I have no regrets.
Welcome back, Law.
I love this game. That was fun. That was cute. Everyone overreacting, being like, he's got a heat stroke. It just brings me back to their gassing Alphen. Same vibes. Oh, this is a very good game. Okay. Let's go talk to Doc.
Oh, hi, Alphen.
Hey.
Hey, Cole. What's up? You don't look too hot, kid.
I'm really hungry.
Even with the... Oh my god. Even with the Renegon, there's still not enough food to go around. That's not good. Is there no way to bring in some from outside Calaglia?
Yes.
We have been. Thanks to your hard work, we've managed to establish trade routes and have a little food coming in. But other places are not very well off either. So there's only so much we can broker between realms. Especially since this realm is nothing but rocks and sand for the most part.
Just great.
That's sad. I wish something more could be done. There's still hope. I heard there's a merchant from Cislodia who's visiting Glanymede Castle.
How's this?
Would you mind talking to him for us?
Got it.
Sure. We'll see what he has to say.
Hey, in the meantime, here, have the spread.
Yay!
Wow, thanks! Where did you get it?
Xion always comes prepared like that.
All right.
Anyway, let's make our way to Glanymede Castle. Okay, global connection. Ooh. Let's not give display priority. I have to keep the owls on priority. So we're looking for a merchant. Cool. I'm not gonna do that just yet. There's one in Ulzebek as well. I do want to go to the Iglia Wastes too. I'm just curious whether that'll be open. We'll start with Ulzabek and then we'll head over there. I wonder what this could be. I wonder if Mr. Fashion Guy is still wearing his pompous outfit. Or did he disappear?
We finally made it.
He maybe disappeared, actually. I think he did disappear after the... Oh, nope, he's still there in that outfit. Hi? Yeah, he's just saying the same thing he did last time. Okay, cool. Well... hello?
I wonder if something happened.
I think something might have. Oh, it's Granar? Is that his name?
Yeah!
Hey, seems like you folks are staying pretty busy. Oh.
Hey.
You could say that. You seem to be in high spirits yourself, Granar. I try. I like to think I'm good at staying positive, if nothing else. After all, with everyone so scared right now, it's important for guys like us to stand tall and keep hopes alive, you know? You said it. What's got you all down in the dumps? Me? I'm fine, I guess. Well, you sure don't sound like it to me. If Zephyr saw you like that, he'd be none too pleased. Granar, cut him some slack. But what'd I say? Oh, yeah. Huh?
Yeah!
Anyway, I just remembered that Nate said he has a favor to ask you guys. He does? What is it? You should talk to him yourselves. Tell him I sent you. See you later.
Just great.
He scurried off in a rush. That stuff with Zephyr, I mean, your dad, still weighing on your mind, huh?
I guess...
I've known every Crimson Crow since I was in diapers, so I know better than anyone just how much they revered him. It's not like anyone's pointing the finger at me, but it's hard to stop imagining that they don't hate me somehow. Do you want to wait here while we talk to Nath?
Thanks.
No, I'll come along. Not like waiting around is gonna make me feel any better. Alright, mixed feelings. Okay. Well, it should be easy enough just to go and talk to Nath. He should just be around the corner, probably. Oh, or... Nope, up there, yes. Okay. Nath! Hi!
Huh?
Oh, hey, you guys. What can I do for you?
Well...
We were going to ask the exact same thing. Granar sent us to talk to you. Said you had a favor to ask? Favor? What favor? Oh, I know. You know the Iglia Wastes? There's a Zoogle there I want you to take care of. For now, we've managed to contain it and block off the roads, but who knows when it'll break loose and start causing trouble again.
Alright.
Makes sense. I'm guessing you want us to go in and make sure that never happens. More or less, yeah. But I'm not asking you to do it, Alphen. I want Law to take care of it instead.
Huh?
Me? Really? You got a problem with that? No, it's not that, but...
Alright.
Good. Then get to work as soon as possible. If you need to break the barrier to get it done, that's fine too. Anyway, that's all from me. Don't let me down, you hear?
I guess.
What is with these guys? First Granar starts acting weird and now Nath? It's me. This is because I got my dad killed. Aw. No, it's fine. It's the least I can do after what I put these guys through. I'll be back.
Got it.
Nobody said we couldn't help you. We'll come too. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Let's have a look at that quest real quick. Mixed feelings. Zephyr's ring, Dawn braces. What, Zephyr's ring? Oh no! 12,000 gold. I'm guessing it's probably around our level then. Maybe? It might be a little higher level than us. What level are we? 44, 45? Lost 45. I see. Well, that answers my other question though. That means we can go to the blocked off road. Yeah. I'm guessing we have to go there to do it. Because that's where there was a barrier. Huh. Well, that's fun. I guess next time we might do that then. Where else do we have side quests? Out of curiosity. So, okay, we've got some to complete here, but none that we've done yet. We've got none in Cislodia, except for ones that we need to complete. None in Menancia, none in Mahaksar. There's one in Pelagian. And there's one in Dake Faisal. Okay, we can go pick those up real quick. Okay, let's go pick up these real quick, and then we'll do them all next time. So, is this gonna be... I'll remember his name in a second. Ganya? Is this gonna be Ganya again?
Looks like we made it here in one piece.
Maybe it's not Ganya, because that's Ganya there. It must be that guy. Oh! We have another skate here! Growing up.
Hey, Law. Been training?
Yeah, I guess I got a little carried away. You think this is bad, you should see the state of my underwear.
Yeah. A word of advice. You might want to refrain from mentioning that stuff around girls. Ones without a military history especially.
Man, can you imagine Rinwell's face? She'd have a nervous breakdown.
I meant in general, but you sure mention her a lot, you know.
Huh? Oh, you know, she's always there, even when you least expect it. Springs to mind easily.
Either that, or maybe some part of you is subconsciously always wishing she was there.
May the trials and tribulations of young romance never change.
Romance? Like I'd be interested in that know-it-all tomboy. I'm more about mature women. Someone more like Kisara.
You know, I used to be a tomboy too when I was Rinwell's age.
Look, it's not tomboys I have anything against. But come on, you've got to admit she can be a lot to handle.
Hey, I miss anything? What's all the fuss about?
Rinwell.
Thunderblade!
Ah! What the hell was that for?
A little birdie told me you were speaking about me behind my back. Whew!
From the looks of it, I'd say you've got yourself a rival.
It wouldn't be called the Spring of Youth without a little storm every now and then.
God, I love this game. Oh, he has a crush on her. That's so cute. Let's watch this other skit. Affection in its many forms.
Hey, Shion. How are you and Alphen getting on these days?
That's a little out of the blue. Why do you ask?
Sorry, it's just... I don't know, I'm just curious, I guess. I mean, a lot's changed now he's got his senses back and all.
I suppose you're right. Well, to tell you the truth, if he'd been the way he is now back when I'd first met him, I probably wouldn't have gotten this involved. But then, if we hadn't met like we did, then I never would have experienced these feelings, so... I guess it's complicated.
I can imagine. I know it's not the same thing, but I know what it feels like to have someone you love who's out of reach.
Because of Miguel.
Alphen's still alive. It's not too late, you know. And after all, who can say what the future holds? I think if I were you, I'd take things as they come for now.
Besides, touch isn't everything. I've never touched you, Shion. But that doesn't stop you from knowing that I care about you, right?
That's true. But I do remember back when we first met, you made it plenty clear you weren't my biggest fan.
But that was a long time ago. There were lots of things I didn't understand back then. Not that that's the point.
Don't worry, I'm only teasing. I know what you mean. Thank you. And you're right. There are ways to convey your feelings besides just touching.
I'll say, cooking immediately springs to mind. And if it's someone's favorite dish, all the better. If there's something on your mind that you want to tell him, why not try appealing directly to his stomach?
You might just have a point. I'll give it a shot.
Uh-oh. If it's Alphen's palate you're appealing to, that doesn't bode well for the rest of us.
Well, friendship is about being supportive. Sometimes we just have to do our best and take one for the team, right?
This is a very good game. Take one for the team. Oh my god. He's skating a bit. Oh, he's fine now. He was skating a little bit there. That was a very sweet skit. Up until they were talking about having to force themselves to eat something that's to Alvin's palate. That's funny. Oh, yeah. They all care so much about Shion. It's so sweet. About each other as well. They all just care. I love this party. They're so good. Sorry, we have another skit here. A creepy crawly tangent.
Even after staying here, we never truly got to the bottom of what makes this realm's citizens tick.
Renin and Danon are meaningless distinctions here. To have one's own mind is strictly forbidden. All that matters is blind obedience.
That might be the case now, but it can't always have been like that. There must have been something more.
Once, maybe. Question is that something still salvageable?
If it's not, we'll just have to make something new. No, not we. They've had enough foisted on them as it is.
You're right. It's time the people here had the chance to forge their own path. That's not to say it'll be easy, but it will be worthwhile.
These things take time to... What the... An ambush?
Sorry. Sorry. There was a huge flying bug and I sort of shot without thinking.
A bug? You mean like a Zoogle?
Something tells me she would have shot it, whether it was a Zoogle or not.
This realm is teeming with humid forests. It's only natural insects would feel more at home here than Menancia. In fact, I seem to recall reading somewhere that bugs around these parts lay their eggs in human food to ensure healthy incubation.
Sounds like they're tougher than they look.
What about you, Alphen? Bugs don't creep you out?
I wouldn't say I was their #1 fan. Mind you, if times get desperate enough, I've been known to eat them.
Insects as a culinary option, you say? What kind of seasoning are we talking?
Dohalim, I don't think he was talking about cooking them.
Hey, a lizard!
Oh god, this party. I mean, I'm not surprised that Alvin had to eat bugs at some point because, you know, slavery doesn't exactly make it easy to find food. But, yeah, no, I would be the same as Shion. I can't stand bugs. I cannot stand them. There was a giant spider yesterday. It was the worst. I hate bugs. God, but no, I love this party. They're fantastic. Okay. I was going to try and get the rest of these, but unfortunately, those skits have taken us far over, so I need to stop. Hi, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please feel free to let me know down below what you thought of everything that happened in this episode here today, including our answers, conversations, so many skits, the Renin surface. Yeah, just if you have any thoughts on any of that, feel free to let us know down below. Next time... Okay, bye! Next time we will do some side quests. I'm not gonna lie, yeah, we're doing side quests, but look forward to it. I'm gonna have fun with it probably. I hope you guys will as well. But I really want to camp again. I want to see if there are more conversations. I want to camp. But for now, thank you again for watching. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Hope you have a great day, night, or whatever the time it is for you. And I will see you next time.